Recall the diminutive yet formidable Celine Tam, who sung Celine Dion's greatest hits with the confidence of a singer with decades of experience? She stunned the globe a few years ago when she appeared on America's Got Talent. The world just saw the arrival of a new superstar, an artist prepared to take the stage for years to come. But then, almost as suddenly as she had come, she vanished. That is, if she didn't. How then did Celine Tam end up where she is? If you want to know how she overcame adversity and found success after those incredible AGT moments, you'll have to stick around because we're going to reveal the unseen stories of her life. Just like everyone else's life, Celine Tam's narrative took an unexpected turn. Celine had a far more modest beginning to her life, but it was no less magical, before all the glitter and glamour. From the moment she came into this world on November 22, 2007, in the bustling metropolis of Hong Kong, Celine had music everywhere. Her dad, Dr. Steve Tam, wasn't your average dad. He had extensive experience as a vocalist and voice instructor. Saying that there was a musical heritage would be a major understatement. They were practically born with it. In honor of her parents' deep adoration for the late Canadian singer Celine Dion, little Celine was given the name Celine. It seemed like music had always been an integral part of her life, even before she could talk. It wasn't until Celine was 3 years old, though, that the magic began. Everyone knows that when they're in the car, youngsters can't help but sing along. On the other hand, Celine Dion's legendary song, My Heart Will Go On, began playing on the radio one day as she and her family were driving. Little Celine started singing along flawlessly, surprising everyone. It was as if a switch was flipped. Her parents immediately sensed that their daughter was serious in music. She was really gifted. It seemed inevitable that her father, Dr. Steve Tam, who had a lifelong passion for music, would begin teaching his daughter singing lessons. Something more serious emerged from an innocent curiosity. No longer was it merely a matter of singing for enjoyment. It was all about helping her develop her abilities so she might pursue a music career. While he may not have been an expert in music per se, his passion for the arts and experience in the classroom made him an ideal mentor for Celine as her talent blossomed. Actually, he founded the Sing and You Music Center in 2013 to help cultivate future Hong Kong talents, which was inspired by his discovery of Celine's voice. Do you not think it is a lovely story? Dr. Tam understood the significance of beginning early. Because of this, Celine's music lessons soon became an integral part of her schedule. However, this was not your ordinary radio sing-along. Her father was adamant that she learn more than simply note perfectionism. Making her a real performer was his main goal. Celine began training at a young age for the many aspects of becoming a powerful singer, including stage presence, breathing techniques, and voice control. Envision yourself being instructed in the art of stage leadership at the tender age of 4. It seems intense, doesn't it? But there was more to Celine's parents' ambitions for her than that. No, they weren't going to stuff her into a steaming pot. On the contrary, they encouraged her innate skill while also ensuring that she had a typical upbringing alongside her musical studies. Ming Shan, her mother, was more subdued but no less important. As Dr. Tam worked with Celine, her mom made sure their house was a safe place for her to be a youngster. Celine made her debut in front of an audience when she was just 4 years old. She was unstoppable after that. She began performing at events all over the world and made appearances on national television in both China and the United States. However, her breakthrough came at the tender age of 5. Do you think it's real? In China, she had already achieved national prominence. Going on tour with Let's Sing Kids. The concert gives young singers a chance to shine, and Celine wasn't going to miss out on that chance. In fact, she won the hearts of people all around the globe when she sang Secret Garden's You Raise Me Up with a young Canadian artist named Jeffrey Lee, with whom she harmonized exquisitely. Not only did their performance become viral, but it catapulted Celine to stardom. Little Big Shots, Steve Harvey's NBC show, encouraged them to return for another performance after their 2015 appearance. They were introduced to an even bigger audience after their performance on the show, which greatly increased their visibility. Soon enough, Celine had evolved into much more than a charming child performing in her living room. A promising career in art lay ahead of her as a young woman. Still, it all began with her dad and a couple of music lessons. On top of a mountain of commitment. Celine was already an accomplished performer by the time she was 9 years old. She had an uncanny knack for captivating crowds and a voice that belied her youth. She had no idea that her formative years were setting the foundation for her to perform on a globally renowned platform. Celine, who was 9 years old in 2017, tried out for American Got Talent's 12th season. She walked shyly onto the platform in a charming frock with white and blue stripes, introduced herself, and won over the audience with her charming smile. Some of the judges, including as Howie Mandel, Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, and Mel B, questioned her. Her announcement that she will be performing Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On piqued everyone's interest. Ultimately, that song is more than just iconic. You won't find a more difficult song in pop music than this one. Furthermore, nobody anticipated that a diminutive individual could manage to perform such a monumental song. Celine wasn't just some kid trying out a major song, it was obvious the moment the music started and she started singing. She gave a superb performance. Her voice was full of character, and she managed to strike every note precisely and passionately. People in the crowd were already up and applauding when she reached the climactic chorus. Simon Cowell, who is notorious for his critical assessments, appeared to be really amazed. Mel B praised her performance as flawless, while Heidi Klum expressed her awe. Almost instantly, that audition became viral. People all over the globe couldn't stop gushing over this little superstar when the video went viral, with millions of shares. She was like Celine Dion in that she had a small voice, yet the media labeled her the little girl with the huge voice. As she progressed through the competition, Celine's performances were mesmerizing. She sang How Am I Supposed to Live Without You by Michael Bolton during the Judge Cuts round, and the audience went wild. After witnessing Celine's deeply moving performance, guest judge Laverne Cox pressed the golden buzzer, advancing her to the live performances. She sang a rendition of Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston's When You Believe at the quarterfinals, showcasing her extensive repertoire and talent for intricately crafted emotive melodies. The voice of Celine kept the attention of millions of viewers at home, even though she was competing against more seasoned and older artists. It was Moana's How Far I'll Go that she selected for the semifinals. The show was well received, although it couldn't compare to her previous works. She was so eliminated before reaching the championship round. But her run on AGT had already cemented her place as an international star. One would assume that Celine would be ready for a break after her incredible experience on America's Got Talent. She opted not to slow down, though. Her life after AGT had just begun when she became famous, yet the world took note. Making cameos on other talent shows, such as World's Got Talent, she maintained her global star power. Envision yourself as a small girl whose fame extends beyond the United States and into the world. With each new opportunity, her star continued to rise, and she continued to test herself. However, she wasn't enticed solely by talent shows. Celine began to land appearances at high-profile events, such as charity concerts and gala dinners. She stole the show at the 2024 Room to Read Gala Dinner with a breathtaking performance of Girl on Fire, and she was only 11 years old. In addition to astonishment for the audience, her powerful voice contributed almost $1.153 million to the Room to Read organization, which supports young learners globally. How about putting your skills to work for a worthy cause? And that was merely one of several charity events when she mesmerized the crowd. At the 2020 Light Up Your Life benefit concert, Celine sang How Am I Supposed to Live Without You and other love songs on the strength of love. As if Celine's desire to make a difference weren't evident enough, the concert's proceeds went to a number of worthy causes. At the Paul Young-Cook charity event, she gave a moving performance, singing Truly Love You, which stunned the audience. An early and distinctive quality of Celine's was her capacity to strike an emotional chord with listeners. She had an emotional range that belied her years, her voice was powerful and honest. Even in a field teeming with extraordinarily talented performers, it was her talent that set her apart. Although her talent was obvious and her performances were touching, something changed after she became famous. Things started to calm down for Celine, whose career had previously appeared destined for global success. Then what transpired? Managing her time between school and her singing profession was one of Celine's initial obstacles. Education was emphasized as a primary goal by Celine's parents, in contrast to other child stars who flourish in the continual hum of performances and publicity. They urged her to devote more time to her education and less to her hectic performance schedule. It was a smart move in many respects. The parents of Celine were adamant that their daughter not become another short-lived child celebrity. They believed that a good education would set her up for success in the real world. Taking a vacation, particularly following a high-profile program like AGT, can lead to unexpected results in the entertainment industry. The public's attention began to wane as Celine was absorbed in her studies. Because of how quickly things move in the music industry, it's easy to fade into obscurity if you aren't constantly the center of attention. After a while, people stop paying attention to you since you're no longer a rising star. Another thing is that it can be really challenging to go from being a child star to an adult artist. At such a little age, Celine found herself catapulted into the spotlight. Furthermore, that entails extensive examination. She had to come to terms with her identity beyond that of the adorable child with the incredible voice as she matured. Making the transition from talented child to established artist as a young adult is no picnic. Also, there are times when the industry makes it difficult for you to succeed. Given these challenges, Celine has never really vanished. Though maybe not as often as previously, she has kept up her performance schedule at concerts and charitable events. However, many admirers are now asking what happened to their beloved diva since she is no longer seen in mainstream media. Does she no longer enjoy music? Or is she just retracing her steps in order to discover her genuine calling? You may be asking, what is Celine Tam up to now, given the length of time she has been silent? She isn't, however, content to let her stardom wane. Honestly, she's been rather present on social media, wowing both her longtime and new fan bases with her incredible singing abilities. To start, Celine often posts videos of her live performances to her YouTube channel. From her earlier AGT auditions to her newest engagements, it's like a treasure vault of her most unforgettable moments. She performs at the AIA Great European Carnival, and other awesome events are featured on her Celine Play and Fun playlist. She even performed in London, where her rendition of Flashlight elicited enthusiastic applause from the audience. Her singing still possesses that enchantment. Now we have TikTok. Including Celine, it appears like everyone is using that platform these days. Despite the lack of an official page, videos of her, such as the one showing her You Raise Me Up audition from American Idol, are circulating online. Even now, the performance remains a topic of endless conversation. I mean, who among us doesn't enjoy watching old TikTok videos? It's obvious that Celine isn't going anywhere, even though her face isn't exactly plastered on the covers of magazines these days. Celine has consistently demonstrated an innate drive to develop personally and professionally. Despite her undying devotion to music, she has made time for other interests that stimulate her mind and spirit. Just picture yourself as a child, with everyone looking on you like you were a natural performer, while still making room in your schedule to pursue other interests. You have to admit, that's really remarkable. One thing that stands out is Celine's passion in arts as a means to understand diverse cultures. You might not expect a child star to have such a diverse set of interests as she has. Even if Celine's legion of admirers can't wait for her next show, they might be startled to hear that she's probably occupied with activities that don't include fame and fortune. Her journey is beautiful because of that. It's unusual for a rising star to make such a decision, especially when stardom is beckoning. Is her choice something you can get behind? If you had been in her position, do you believe you would have acted similarly? And then the rumors start. Apparently, they're obsessed with following all the famous people. This is particularly true when you are young, gifted, and the center of attention, as Celine Tam is. A number of rumors, some more ludicrous than others, have circulated about her throughout the years. Now you can tell the truth from the rumors. To start, let's address the most important one. Celine's parents have always encouraged her to pursue a career in music. This one appears whenever a young genius achieves fame and fortune. However, Celine thoroughly enjoyed it. Indeed, it was her love that thrust her onto the platform. Some individuals are talking about the drama that is there as well. The name of Celine Tam's dad is Dr. Steve Tam. We can all agree that Celine has a remarkable voice, but it turns out that her dad had his share of scandals, too. The academic credentials he possessed were the subject of some rather severe accusations. Some of his detractors began to doubt the legitimacy of his doctorate and even implied that he had exaggerated his academic achievements. Now, everyone familiar with Dr. Steve Tam knows that he isn't afraid to correct people when they're wrong. Those accusations were not left unattended by him. Indeed, he wasted no time denying the accusations and setting the record straight, saying that although he does have a PhD, it is not in music but in some other discipline. The idea that this may detract from his encouragement of Celine's career is, to be honest, quite bizarre. Unfortunately, there's always someone willing to cause trouble when you're famous. Dr. Tam refused to allow it derail his family's progress. He devoted his attention to bolstering Celine, who maintained her individual brilliance. The urban legend has it that Celine was just a one-hit wonder. The common belief that she would disappear following her stint on America's Got Talent is completely unfounded. The fact that Celine has kept releasing music and performing shows that she's not going anywhere, even though her visibility in mainstream media isn't as strong as it was immediately following her AGT run. Just in case you forgot, her 2020 single Who I Am was released. That's hardly the behavior of someone who is only visiting for a short time. It's obvious that she's determined to carve out a successful career for herself. The rumors that Celine is planning to retire from music are another distraction. Rumors have circulated that she has ended things, but that's not quite accurate. It's true that she has occasionally taken time off, particularly to concentrate on her studies, but retirement? Not exactly. Celine is just being deliberate about juggling her musical career with her studies. There will be no permanent break from music for her. All she has to do is figure out how to achieve her long-term objectives. As with any adolescent, Celine Tam defies easy categorization as nothing more than a promising young singer. She may be able to sing some of the hardest songs ever written, but she's also interested in things beyond music. She has every right to be upset. Nobody can be a total music nerd all the time. That is one aspect that adds to the allure of her quest. She's in charge, she's taking her time, and she's creating something substantial, not simply a fleeting sensation. Where does Celine go from here? At least the story isn't finished yet. I believe we're only in the beginning, and she hasn't even done yet.